Hey guys. So where do we begin? In May, actually to be specific, May 1st of 2005, I got into a really bad accident on my Z900RS Cafe. Shout out to the Vernonia Police Department, specifically Bradley Schultz was the officer on the scene. And just I'm sure everybody has their route, right? Everybody kind of has their route of like, well, at least I do, of one of those kind of places where it's just like your usual kind of route that you go to get out and just get away. And mine was kind of like Vernonia Scappoose, where it was like an hour and a half ride through twisties, back roads, and just beautiful scenery. And then I would stop in Vernonia, you have these really cool little town, excuse me, get coffee, and kind of like a little motorcycle hangout. And then you hang out there, you get lunch, coffee, whatever, and then it's the opposite, the opposite twisties coming back. Going there was fine. It was great. I stopped and I think it was like on a Thursday or something like that afternoon. And there's these back roads that just like there's no one around on a Thursday afternoon, right? And so it was one of those days where it was just beautiful out and you're like, I have to freaking ride, you know what I mean? Because in Oregon here where I'm at, it's just shitty for so long, and then you just have to take advantage of all these nice days, and that was the first nice day in a while. And so I wasn't getting along with my partner, and I just needed to kind of get out. So hopped on the bike, did a really nice route there, stopped at the usual Mediterranean place, I think got some coffee, and then hopped on my bike. And coming back, there's a part, if people have ridden this route, I think it's 47, and then where you make a right on Scappoose Vernonia, and there's these really long, just really nice curves to kind of start out. And I don't think I was really going fast. And so when I made a right onto Scappoose Vernonia, it went like this. And there's just big, long, sweeping ones, not like super technical. I guess I didn't even realize that I hit gravel. Both tires leaned over mid-turn as I was coming out. So I was slowing down and then speeding up out of the turn, and my bike went over this. And I just remember for a split second that my right leg went like this. And what's crazy about this is like literally an hour before, actually back up, a few weeks before I got this leather vest, I was like, oh, it's getting nice, I just like to have sometimes my arms exposed, and so I got this really cool vest over Bike Shed LA, right? Really cool. And an hour before I was at one of the motorcycle shops here, and I was like, it was one of those kind of leather pieces that is like motorcycle wear, but it doesn't have any protection. And so I thought, I should get like, I don't know, is there like a back thing, like a strap-on kind of like protection thing where I could kind of just have like a back protection in case I fall. And I tried it on, and I found one thing was pretty inexpensive, and I thought, well, I'll just wear it underneath my vest. And that was literally an hour before. And I've barely ever ride without like my arms covered. And so what I remember is the bike went off this drop, and if people know Scappoose Vernonia, there's parts that are just like if you're over the edge, you're done. Like there's there's no returning back. And so this wasn't that, or so I thought. And so luckily there was no curb. And so when I hit the gravel, my bike broke my right from my knee down. I knew it wasn't good. And so I don't know how my right leg got caught when I was leaned over left, and my bike, and all of a sudden, I was kind of slid looking down. My bike must have been 20 or 30 feet down, and I guess there was like a river too, and so my bike was caught on a log. It felt like within seconds. I don't know if somebody was, there were no cars involved, there were no other people involved. It was just like, and I wasn't going fast, and I didn't see the gravel at all. I've been riding for 8 years, and there was nothing that like I think that could have done to prevent that other than like right in the middle of the lane. I'm thankful for really a lot of things, but those particular people that helped, that I don't know who they are or whoever, because it's like not within cell distance. So there's a guy in a truck that stopped and went towards town, found service, and called 911, and then the cops came and all that other stuff. And so bike was completely totaled. Arms were really bad road rash. Skin was peeled off on both sides. I had gloves on. You still see I have scars, but everything was fine except my right leg. Thankfully, my helmet was showy. I had the X15, I think it was, and that helmet saved my life. The jacket, that protection, probably saved me as well. But yeah, I broke my tibia and fibula in, I think, 2 spots on the top and on the bottom, and then parts of my ankle. And so there's a few things that I kind of, well, how do I say this? I was on my back, and all I heard was when I asked the police to call my partner, was like, his leg is like deformed. And I didn't know, like, honestly, I really didn't know what that meant. All I'm thinking is like, am I going to lose my leg? Am I going to like walk again? And so I was very loopy in the ambulance ride back to the hospital. And so when I got there, they wound up and resetting my leg. I had about a 3.5 hour surgery. And so what they did was they make a cut. If this is if this is your leg, they make a cut above your knee, and then they insert a titanium rod in your, either the thicker bone, because it's 2 bones right there. It's a tibia and the fibula. And so the thicker bone, they insert a rod and then pins. So there's like pins here and then pins here right above my ankle. Actually had skin cancer, melanoma, on that same leg. And then I found skin cancer, a basal cell carcinoma on my head. And so I was dealing already with that, and then this was kind of another blow. And it was my right leg, so I couldn't drive. And I'm thinking like, of course you're in pain, you're on drugs. Not only the pain from that, you're like, or the surgery, it's like those drugs can kill you. I was weeding off anti-anxiety medication, and you're just like, if the accident doesn't kill you, the drugs could, you know what I mean? And what they don't tell you is what happens, not so much the accident, is that after the accident, the recovery, like it's literally taken 8 to 10 months to to learn how to walk. I had to basically learn how to walk again. It's my right leg, so I couldn't drive. Months later, still getting bills that aren't covered by insurance. And so there were like a lot of financial things and pressure that I had to deal with as well. And so there's a few things that I kind of wrote down that I wanted to talk about, that I think is, that as a rider is super important for me to kind of convey. Not get cheap on motorcycle gear. Don't. There's so many things. Some of it looks shitty, but like, we're not in the 80s where like a lot of it now looks cool, right? I was dressed for a cruise. I ride kind of more sporty. I was dressed for a cruiser. Wear protective stuff, the best thing, I'm not big on like leather because I'm a vegan, but I will say, like, wear it. If it protects you, like, wear it. My X15 helmet, Shoei, and I know there's a lot of manufacturers and stuff like that. To me, it's like Shoei or Arai. The thing is like, don't mess around with that. I guarantee you that helmet saved my life 1,000%. I'm lucky. There's a lot of things that could have happened, or it could have been other part of I could have been over the edge. Car could have been involved. I could have been down somebody didn't, get there to like take me off of the ledge. Like I could have slid down in a river, and who would have found me, And so there's so many different things and scenarios that could have happened, but I will say, don't chintz on protection. So as far as the future of this channel, I know it's been a while since I posted anything. I don't know, like leave a comment, let me know about what you guys think. I'll be honest, I haven't ridden since then. I think there's different levels of being in an accident, right? Yeah, I've fallen before, but riding 8 years, I've taken some track days, and I consider myself a pretty good rider. I like to have fun, but I'm not stupid, You guys know there's a push and pull, right? In terms of like getting another motorcycle, what do I get? And, I always think like, now they have the lean sensitive IMU. Would that help? Would that have helped in my particular situation? I don't know. Do I get a slow bike, a lighter bike, just more cruiser style? Am I going to be happy with just that? Is it too slow? Is it too fast? I don't know. There's a few bikes, like even I think they stopped making mine this year, the Z900RS Cafe version, but I saw like the 2025, I think, version, which is a really cool paint thing. I was thinking like, if I get something, do I get another one of those? But I'm also looking at like the things like the lean sensitive IMU, like, and also weight, because I didn't realize how heavy of a bike that was. Like, it's almost 500 pounds, that bike. And so although I had a ton of fun with it, do I get the same one? One thing I will say, just to kind of let you guys know what I have been doing, because I think for a lot of you guys, right, it's like mental health is kind of a big thing. And when I think of like stuff that's really fun, like motorcycles is fun, like really fun, right? Like, I don't know any other stuff besides playing with my dogs, like, is fun. Something that just where you could do it, connect with a community of people, and just have an instant connection, but also too, like, be by yourself in nature. And there's so many great roads out here in Oregon. And so I always think like music has been an escape. And people that don't know, music has been in my history since, I don't know, like late 90s. And so I tried kind of switching careers a few times, and I thought, maybe do I go back to school, blah, 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 blah. And so I discovered like pure wellness, and thought, maybe help someone else is dealing with mental health and all this stuff. And I went down that path for a few months, and I just couldn't get work. I'll share some links below. I have been putting out music and working on a lot of music for the past few months. I write a song a day, or at least I try to. That's the goal. And I have music on Spotify, Apple Music, separate website with all that kind of stuff. So I'd love it if you guys subscribe to that, play it. If you like that kind of music, awesome, cool. If not, totally cool. But I want you guys to know that it means a lot to me, this community. And so I hope, I'm not sure, again, you can leave a comment, let me know what you think, or what you want to see on the channel, whether you want me to continue. Maybe I was thinking like, do I do like a link for donations, or like a new bike fund or something like that? Maybe if I do, like, check the link, I'll put a link in the description. I made a promise to myself that this whole year, I'm going to focus on music and see where it goes. As an update as to where I've been, where things are at, that Z900RS Cafe that I love is no more. And yeah, I'm curious, you guys think, what's a good recommendation for a next bike in my situation? Have you guys dealt with any, really bad accidents, got back on, decided not to, all that other stuff? If you guys are around, see me, whatever, say hey, let me know how you guys are doing. And that's really it. Thanks so much for sticking around. And I don't know, we'll see what happens. Thanks again, bye.